So tell us about the ordinance, Leah. Tell us about the travel of this ordinance and what it means to the city of Providence.
Absolutely. I believe that the purpose stated in the ordinance summarizes it very well. The goal here is to reduce the use of single-use checkout bags at the point of sale. These bags often end up in our waterways, cause pollution in our neighborhoods. Many studies have shown how plastic is really building up in our waterways and starting to show up even in human, our bodies. So there's a significant human and environmental impact to disposable plasticware, and I think plastic bag trying to curb the points where plastic can enter our environment and ultimately humans is a really important place to start. We've been working, I've met with Councilwoman Ryan on this previously and had the opportunity to review it, provide some comments and feedback. We had some great discussions not only with her but also with members of the community, many of which who are here today. There's a very active group of residents that have formed the Zero Waste group, and they're looking at waste issues from composting to recycling and plastic pollution are the three areas. So they have been very involved in this as well, and it's been a pleasure working with them and having their input throughout the process.
Great. Can I ask, does the Director of Public Works support this ordinance? Does he think it's a good idea? Have you had conversations with him?
I have, and he does, and as does the administration. We're certainly, from the administration, we're eager to get more feedback and input from the public and make sure that there are no issues, particularly the mayor expressed wanting to ensure that bodegas are not disproportionately impacted. I believe that this ordinance does not disproportionately impact them, and it's been designed after some of the best in the country, and we've learned a lot from others who have gone before us, including the city of Boston, the entire state of California. This has been an evolution across the country in terms of how cities and states reduce plastic pollution, and we've certainly taken lessons from others. Both DC and San Francisco, who have also at a city level had similar legislation around plastic bags, saw a dramatic increase in the use of reusable bags. Both cities started out, I think the national average, about 4% of people bring reusable bags to the store today. And after enacting similar legislation, those numbers went up to over 60%. So it's very effective policy, and I think it was designed with care and input from the community.
Wonderful. Can you speak, please, about, I know because we worked kind of hand in hand on some of the language in this ordinance so that it would be sensitive to the retail population. The ordinance basically expresses that there's 12 months to comply, to bring them into compliance. Can you talk about some of the other ways that this ordinance basically eases them into compliance?
Sure. First of all, I think the most important thing that it does, it allows the retailer to keep the fee. And this is sort of resource economics 101. Right now, we go to the store, we get a bag at checkout, they give it to us, we don't have to pay for it directly. But the stores aren't giving those out for goodwill or for free. They're baking the cost into the operating cost of the business. What this does is it shifts it so the consumer has more say and control over if he or she chooses to pay for that bag or not, and to reward them economically if they do choose to use a reusable bag. So in that sense, it's not a new cost, it's just making the cost more visible, and it's dealing with an externality that that customers were not previously able to see the cost of those bags. There's a great, I would also say that there's a process for if for whatever reason a business faces extraordinary circumstances that it does cause hardship for them to comply with this ordinance. There is a process for them to appeal and to state that hardship through my office, and so we can address issues on a case-by-case basis as need be, given that they have a year to comply. I don't see that being a particularly significant issue. But you never know. Certain businesses could have different circumstances that we can't think of right now. But there is a process for that.
Good. Can you speak about, first of all, how many of those single-use bags are used in the city of Providence annually? Do you have that number?
I do not have that data.
I have that.
All right, good.
95 million is the number that I have been given.
In Providence?
Yes, annually in Providence. Single-use plastic bags account for roughly 60 tons of garbage. They're not recyclable, and they're not healthy for our single-stream recycling. They're not accepted in our recycling. And they're actually the primary cause for contamination. Is that correct?
In our recycling stream, plastic bags are what we most commonly find in our recycling bin, which it cannot be processed by the facilities.
And what do we pay annually now for contaminated recycling?
Well, costs are going up at the landfill and the recycling center, but it is we estimate it's close to $1 million a year at this point in time. That we could avoid if we had clean recycling.
What do we pay for our trash program in total? Do you know what it is now?
I know it's DPW's greatest
2.7.
expense.
So it's a significant piece of our trash costs. Okay. I know that and there's some folks from the Zero Waste Group here, and I'm hoping that they'll testify as well. But I know that in our meetings, we talked about an implementation program. We spoke about that with Jamie and John. Jamie from Upstream and John Rod from Clean Water Action. We talked about the importance of an implementation plan and also education and outreach. Can you enlighten the committee and those of us that are in the room, talk about some of the things that have been contemplated as far as making sure that people are aware of what we're doing, how we're doing it, and how they too can get access to reusable plastic bags easily and cost effectively.
Yeah, I'll let them speak for themselves in terms of where they see they can help, but it's really been, the Zero Waste Group has grown over the past few months, and it's been really great to see so many residents come out on every other Monday morning at 7:30 in the morning, very early. No coffee provided either. But there's a lot of interest and a lot of support for working on these, and people seem to be very willing to roll up their sleeves and do whatever it takes to achieve the goals and to reduce waste in Providence, reduce litter, help improve our recycling rates, you name it. So I have no doubt, that they can help execute a very ambitious and thorough outreach and education plan as if and when we move forward with a policy like this.
Okay. And part of the implementation plan calls for getting sponsors for reusable bags. And
yeah, there was discussion about getting sponsorship to make reusable bags that could be handed out, particularly to low-income residents. There was one idea was to get enough to provide a bag or perhaps more to every Providence Housing Authority household. Was one kind of initial thought. But I'm sure that there are more ways that we can make sure to get the reusable bags at no cost to residents who would benefit from them.
Does Waste Management have an appetite for joining us as a sponsor? And I know, they make available our recycling bins and our trash bins. Would they be willing to make available reusable
Never
bags?
hurts to ask, but I cannot speak for them.
I think that's a good ask. Would you be willing to push for that?
Sure.
Have we signed a contract with them yet?
We have.
We have?
I believe so.
Okay, but it won't hurt. I know that they're particularly
They've been a
interested.
great partner in our recycling efforts.
Great. And these bags are actually mucking up their works. They get caught in their operation, their machinery, break things down and all kinds of things. Okay, so that's good. Do you have anything else that you'd like to contribute? And then I'm going to ask my colleagues if they have any questions for you.
I would just say, again, this is just a shift of how we manage the economics around plastic bags in the city and really giving residents an opportunity to not pay for these reusable bags and encourage the proactive kind of behavior shift to, I have a hard time remembering to bring my bags all the time, but I've visited friends in California where they're so accustomed to this that they'll get to the store and turn around and get their bags so they don't want to pay that 10-cent fee. It's like why we tax cigarettes or gasoline tax, any negative impact, we can use economics to change those behaviors, and it's a very powerful tool.
So this really is about changing behavior.
It is.
Clearly, and that's why the cost per bag is important, to send the message at the cash register.
Right.